What is going on, Galactic Army of Light? The Galactic Guardian is reporting for duty 369. The whole universe is on my side. I got a message for you today, right now. We're going to be going over past lives. Past lives, a common topic that's been coming up over and over and over again into my awareness. And it's something that people are having more and more questions on. They're wondering, is this a real thing? Like, do I really have past lives? Do I really exist outside this physical realm? Like, does that even make sense? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, you mean, like, yo, past lives? That sounds a little far out there, bro. Like, are you sure you have past lives? Like, how do you know that? Bro, like, bro, you're probably wondering, like, how do you even know that? How do you, like, do I have past, you might be asking yourself right now, do I even have past lives? Who am I? Who am I really? You ever ask yourself that question, like, dude, like, who really are you? See, once upon a time along my journey, where I was afraid of what other people think. And this still occurs to me sometimes. I'm still sometimes I feel that. Can't lie. My human does. But anyway, in general, I was really at this point where I was really afraid. I was really afraid what other people think. Like, I couldn't speak up for myself. I couldn't do anything. I just felt stuck. I felt like no matter what I did, it just like, if for some reason it just wouldn't work. Like, I just felt like I just was afraid to fail. I was afraid what other people think. And it was holding me back. And I figured, like, okay, why would I be feeling like this? I mean, I just created 6 figures online. I just traveled the entire world. I spoke on stage in front of hundreds of people. I did all these amazing things in my life, yet I'm still comparing myself to others. Yet I'm still worrying about what people think. And I still feeling inferior. Why is that? What am I feeling right now? And then I go and see my family, and I go experience their realm of reality again, and start to see how they are, how it programmed how I was before I achieved all that success. So I was like, okay, I started to feel a little bit of resentment towards him. And I was starting to judge myself. I was like, damn, I really allowed myself to believe all of their limiting beliefs. Okay, I was like, how did I really let myself do that? Like, I knew that I was capable from the very beginning. As soon as I was born, I knew I came here to do something great. Right? It's probably you do as well. You still do. You still deep down know, like, okay, I'm here to do something. I'm here for a reason. Like, I got a purpose. What is it? Like, what is my purpose? And that's the same question I was asking myself. I was asking myself those questions, like, what is my purpose? Why am I even here? Like, what's the point of all of this? Like, there's got to be more to life than just making money and you have friends and you do things and you explore and adventure. Okay, that's great. That's on the surface. But, like, deeper than that, like, who even am I? Like, what's the point? Why am I here? What's my purpose? Right? Like, how did I get here? Where am I going next? Like, what? All these questions began flooding into my mind. I'm like, I must know the answers. I must know. I'm like, I got to find this shit out. I gotta find out, dude. I gotta figure this shit out. I was like, life is a puzzle. And all these analogies began to flood into my awareness. I was like, okay, life is a puzzle. So if life is a puzzle, and we're all connected to God, we're all of God and from God, then I must be a puzzle piece to that puzzle. And for us to solve the puzzle, I can't solve it by myself. I can only put my puzzle piece into the puzzle to fix it. Whereas everyone else must put their puzzle piece in as well. We all must come together. We all must put our puzzle piece into the puzzle, or your slice of pizza into the pie, to solve the solution, whatever that may be. You see, New Earth is among us right now. We are creating it right now with all the thoughts we think and all the actions we take. We are voting for the reality that we want right now with all the thoughts you think, all the actions you take is voting for the reality that maybe you want or maybe you don't. See, a key understanding here, we're going to get into past lives here in a minute. I'm going to share with you the story of how I even found out about my past lives. Like, it first came from a lot of suffering, dude, in my mind. A lot of, like, anxiety, a lot of worrying about what people think, and a lot of just afraid of, like my spiritual awakening was afraid. It was frightening me. I was like, okay, I'm reaching new levels. Like, am I just going deep into this rabbit hole? Like, what is going on? And I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, there's all this corruption on the planet, all this, and people are believing the lies. I'm like, and I was honestly questioning myself. I'm like, are people dumb? Like, how do people not detect that this is all bullshit? Like, are they not intuitive? And I'm like, okay, I'm really intuitive, so I can tell this is BS. But it seems like other people, either they can't tell or they're afraid to speak up. They're afraid to be different than everyone else. So I'm like, okay, maybe I'll give people the benefit of the doubt. Maybe they're just afraid. Okay, understandable. But I was like, okay, great. So if I'm picking up on this now, why is that? What am I here to do? Like, am I here to teach this stuff? Am I here to tell people what I know? Like, what am I, like, what's the point? Like, what even is all this? And meanwhile, I'm learning all this stuff and I'm doing all these things, but I'm with my family, I'm with the people from my past. So I was afraid to be myself. And I felt that I was pressured to being who they wanted me to be instead of who I really was. Now, at the time, I thought that was them controlling me. I was actually outsourcing my power. I was allowing them to take my power away. But in all reality, it wasn't them. It was actually a belief that I was holding. It was a belief that I was holding that their opinion of me matters. It was a belief that I was holding, and this is something that I'm still working through to this day, to be fully out of that belief. It was a deep ingrained belief. Okay, and as I'm sure a lot of you can relate to that, where you feel like you need your parents' approval. You feel like you need your parents' validation, and you feel like on some level you never got it, right? Because it was never good enough. Like I was always being compared to someone else, whether it be my older brother, whether it be my mom or my dad, or whether it be someone that was in another team, or it was always sports for me growing up as a kid. I was always getting compared to other people by my family, really, and that's what it all was. And I'm not judging my family. I'm not blaming them. That's exactly what I chose. I chose to incarnate into this family, and they chose to raise me. We're a soul group, and we incarnate together, and we play these roles, and that's just the way it works. But anyway, I was learning the lesson, the fact that, dude, for some reason my throat chakra was blocked up. I couldn't speak up for myself. I'm sitting here experiencing all these downloads, all these breakthroughs, my intuition. I can tell that there's some really shady things going on this planet, but I mean, they're still watching the news, and they're still believing all this stuff, and I'm just like, how are they, like, they're believing this stuff, and to me it's obvious it's BS. And they'll be like, yeah, I know it's BS, but and then they'll still watch it. I'm like, but why are you watching it? And then it was really bugging me. It was really frustrating me. Like, why are my parents watching the news? Like, do they not realize it's all a lie? Do they not realize the weather is completely controlled? Like, it's not even real. Like, the weather is not, like, they literally create the weather clouds artificially, okay? And I'm like, okay, anyway. I mean, to be fair, my dad's a farmer, so he got to know what the weather is. That's besides the point. To be fair. But generally speaking, I'm like, okay, they're believing this stuff, so what do I believe? I'm like, what do I believe? And I'm like, okay, I believe something different, but do I need to explain it to them? Do I need to, like, prove them? And I felt like that's what I was doing. I was like, I needed their validation. I needed them to believe me instead of whatever they were believing. It's like I needed them to conform to what I believe. Otherwise, that means I'm not validated. That means my opinion don't matter. That's what I believed at that time. This is about a year ago now. And I knew, like, deep down, like, I'm learning something here. There's a lesson in this. I don't know why there's all this resistance in my mind of, like, okay, I did all this stuff, that's great, but there's got to be a bigger purpose here. There's got to be a bigger reason why I'm going through all this stuff. And you may be asking yourself that same question. There's got to be a bigger reason why I'm going through this pain right now. Like, I'm learning something here. I may not know what it is. I feel like you may feel like you're being guided right now, but you don't know where you're being led to. That's exactly what I'm here to help you with. It's exactly what I'm here to help you with, because that's exactly what I've been going through over the last year, right? Knowing that this time is coming on this planet, that people begin to awaken. And so I began to start learning about past lives, okay? And the way I did that was I started to be curious. I was very curious. I was researching things because I was wondering, okay, why am I here? What's my purpose? So I started typing that in on YouTube. I started typing it on Gaia. I'm like trying to figure this out. And I stumbled across this video from Mira Kelly about past life regression. And she had told this story of how she had this incredible jaw pain. And she would go to the doctor, go to the dentist, they try to heal it, surgery. They basically got to the point where nothing they were doing was working. And they gave her an option. They said an ultimatum. They said, hey, Mira, this is what we can do. You can either keep living the rest of your life with this pain, or here's what we can do. We can actually break your jaw and put it back together. And she was like, I don't want to do that, no. And so she stepped away from the doctor, and she thought back to a memory. When she was actually 13 years old, she had done a past life regression. So she's like, you know what, let me try it. And she ended up, long story short, she ended up going to New York, and she did a couple of past life regressions, and she had regressed back to a lifetime where she was this black man that was a slave in what time period it was. I can't remember what it was. She was this man that was a slave and had this collar around his neck. Okay, she was strong too. She was a strong man physically, but broken spiritually. And she felt, and she was grateful. She was grateful for her masters, and even though she should, they're controlling you. You were her slave. They're a slave, but she was still grateful for them. And she was like, damn, that's so broken of me spiritually to be grateful for someone that's controlling me like that, right? And it's like Stockholm Syndrome. This is what's happening on the planet. I mean, there's people poisoning your food and putting pills in your body that's affecting your bloodstream and how you think and disconnecting you from spirit. I mean, amongst many other things that's happening with the pharmaceutical industry. And gosh dang it, I don't even know if I could say that right now. God damn it. Like, fuck. I don't even, honestly, bro, this video might get taken down now because I just said that. But you can't even, apparently you can't even talk about that. That's ridiculous. Just that in itself. But anyway, besides the point, back onto the past life stuff. Hope we just don't get striked because I already got one strike. But pharmaceutical, not don't say that word. You can't say anything about health that's against their way of belief, of thinking, that they've conditioned into everyone. Okay? You must think the way we think. That way we can profit off of you being not getting the right information. That's pretty much what's happening. They say, hey, guess what? You got to think how we think. Therefore, we can profit off of you being sick and not knowing the information of what real health looks like. Okay? It's not health care, it's sick care. But anyway, back to the point of past life regression. I heard, at first, I was kind of skeptical. I was like, dude, I don't even know if this is real. To be honest, bro, I don't know if this is real. But I heard her story, and I was like, and I started to get chills in my spine. I was like, okay, I feel like I was guided to watch this video. I felt like I was supposed to see this right now. And then I decided to do my own past life regression. Because at this point in time, and the reason why I did it was because I had all this emotional pain. I was depressed and I was anxious and I was afraid to be myself. Specifically, it was a throat chakra thing. So I'm thinking back to my mind, I'm like, okay, maybe I was hung, maybe my throat was slit, maybe both, okay, something happened to my throat here, clearly, physically. Because why is my throat blocked up? Why am I afraid to speak up for myself? Why am I afraid to be myself? Okay, something's happened here spiritually with my throat. And so I did this past life regression. It regressed me back to when I was this child. I was this child, about 7 years old. I was a British schoolgirl. And I was in this cabin, and I had all this art, I had all these writings, I had all these drawings, all these creative work. And I was excited to share it with my family, and they were rejecting it. They were saying it is stupid, haha. They were laughing at me. They were thinking it's silly. Why would you do that? You think that's good, ha, 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 right? And it was kind of that type of energy. And I was getting really sad as I was doing this regression. And if you're not familiar with what a regression is, basically what's happening is it's in a meditation. You're in a meditation, you get into a hypnotic state, and you get guided through words back to a past life. And if you're wondering how do you know it's real, how do you know you're not just imagining things, right? How do you know it's not just your own imagination? Well, when you understand that your soul exists within your third eye, your pineal gland, and that all the information that your soul has ever experienced in this incarnation and in others, the past and present and future of this life, plus all of your incarnations from other lifetimes, that information exists within your energy, which is your soul. And energy contains information. So you go within yourself, the answer is already there. So you have access to all your past lives within yourself, and hopefully that made sense. But I did this past life regression, and I immediately felt like, wow, I understand now why I feel the way I do, because there's a lesson that I'm learning now to help me heal something emotionally that I'm experiencing now that I must have not healed in that other lifetime. A belief around, I need my parents' validation. And I had that belief, even though at that point in time in my life, I was only 7, but I was a female. And typically women are more connected spiritually than men, typically speaking. They are the divine feminine. Mostly, I mean, we all have divine feminine and divine masculine, but typically a woman is more divine feminine than masculine, typically speaking, not always. And I realized that. And once I realized that, I began to release my attachment to that belief. And it was like if by magic, the next day my throat chakra was completely open. I was speaking up loud. Like, it was like my voice got I don't know what's the word, not electrodes, decibels or something like that, right? My throat got deeper all of a sudden. I started speaking up. Like, you can tell a difference. If you go back into my videos of October or September of 2020, you're going to find somewhere in there, you're going to find a video where suddenly my voice just gets deeper. Suddenly I just get louder. And I started speaking, and at that point in time, I began to speak up louder for myself. And I started to speak truth. And I believe I made a video soon after that about Forex or something. I don't know what it was. I started to open up about my experience with it. And before that point in time, I was afraid to do that. And it was a past life regression that helped me heal that belief. Does a past life regression help me heal that belief? Okay. And I know that if you guys are having anything emotionally or physically that you would like healed, we can book a one-on-one session. I can help you go through that as well. Okay. And guide you through. It's a very simple process. The key is having an intention and surrendering. The key is knowing what you want to experience, or what you're trying to learn, or what you want to gain from it, receive from it. Being clear on what that is going to help you a lot through that experience. It's going to help me. I'm going to ask you a lot of questions. I'm going to ask you a lot of questions about what you're experiencing now and gather as much information as possible. And how I do this is I do it psychically, spiritually speaking. So what that means is when I'm asking you questions, you're speaking to me and I'm consuming your energy, and within your energy contains information, okay? And I pick up the information from your energy. So it's not exactly the words you're saying, but it's the energy you're giving me. And I work with energy, so I'm intuitive, I'm psychic. So that means clairvoyant. I see the images, and I'm clairaudient. I hear, and also I have a feeling as well all the time. So clairsentience, but clairaudient specifically is my primary intuitive ability, or my psychic ability is clairaudience, which means I'm hearing. So I can communicate with my guys and yours. We can all do this, but I'm trained to do this, and this is what I do. It's very natural for me at this point in time during my awakening. It's simple to do. Okay. And if you're wondering, okay, how do I, without doing a past life regression, maybe you're wondering, how can I learn about past lives? Well, do some research on the topic, read some books on the topic. I do talk about it very briefly in my book, Meditation Secrets, and it's more so talked about in the book, Your Spirit Guides Are Real. I'm working on a bunch of projects, but do some research, do your own research. And the other thing I would say is, what did you naturally resonate with when you were a child? What did you naturally resonate with when you were a kid? Like, what movies did you like to watch? Like, for me, I found out that I was a ninja, right, or a samurai of that nature when I first learned about past lives, because I was thinking to myself, I was like, okay. Someone said a lot of times when you're a child, you have past life memories. Sporadically, it just kind of comes in. And you may not know that's what it is, but that's what it is. And I was like, okay. Immediately what flashes into my mind was the Beverly Hills Ninja movies, was the Ninja Assassin movies, I played a lot of Assassin's Creed, right? I would love, when I was in kindergarten, they asked me, hey, Jordan, they asked everyone. They said, Jordan, if you could have one wish, you could have anything, what would it be? And I said, a sword. Like, who would say a sword? Like, you could have anything in the world and you pick a sword. I'm like, you pick a sword? So now, at the time, that's just what I wanted. I was watching the movie Zorro, right? Beverly Hills Ninja, which is a hilarious movie. And Jackie Chan even, right? Rush Hour and stuff like that. But now I'm looking back, connecting the dots now. I'm like, okay, if I said sword when I was 5 or 6 years old, that pretty much definitely qualifies me for the fact of having a past life where I used a sword. Okay, how would it not? Right? And then, okay, ask yourself this question also. What did you dress up as at Halloween? Right? Was like, okay, Mom, Dad, I need this costume. I dressed up as a ninja like 3 times, or it was at least once or twice. No, was it twice? No, how many times was it? It was 2 times. Yeah, I think it was 2 times. I believe it was 2 times. I just got the answer. Yeah, it was 2 times. I dressed up as a ninja. Like, what did you like? Were you a princess? Were you a pirate? Like, I've been a pirate as well in my past life. Okay. Also, as well, to note that all your lives are simultaneous. All your lives are simultaneous. So you think past life, linear speaking, because in this life, on planet Earth, time is linear. So yesterday happened back then. Tomorrow happens in the future, right? That's in the physical realm. We perceive life through the concept of time. But outside of time and space, aka outside of the earth, outside of the physical plane, your higher self and your oversoul experiences all of your incarnations at the same time. So it's actually simultaneous lives, not past lives, but it's more commonly known as past lives than simultaneous lives. Past lives is esoteric enough. Simultaneous lives is really the truth of things, I believe, but it's not all the time talked like that. But if you look up the people that are really the head of the field of past lives, you look up Bruce Goldberg, Mira Kelly, Dolores Cannon, Brian Weiss. Those four coming to mind right at the top of the dome. Julie Cannon as well just now. There's a few more, but those are the main ones that I'm aware of at least. And they will all talk about how time is how lives are simultaneous, how you can tap into your future lives or your past lives right now, right now. Like not like okay, not once 4 years down the road I get a degree, then I'll learn and I'll know how to do it, guys. The whole system of education is being flipped upside down. You don't need to have a certain period of time to learn something. It's not about how much time it takes to learn something. It's about what is your willingness to learn and what is your willingness to accept change. Because when you're doing what you love, life is work and work is life. There is no work-life balance. When you do what you love, life is work and work is life because you're obsessed with it, because it makes you feel good, because you're passionate about it, because it's your purpose. And when it's your passion, it's your purpose, it's not work. You love it. You do what you love. It's not work. I don't work. I do what I love, right? So it's not going to take you, like Tony Robbins, for example, right? He was learning an NLP course. He was on an NLP course. He was getting his certification for NLP, right? Or something like that, right? NLP. And he was like, okay, they told him like, hey, Tony, you got 6 more months, you'll get the certification. He's like, no, I'm going to help people right now. I know exactly what I need to do. And they're like, no, you need to get certified first. No. And then Tony goes off, makes, billions of dollars, never got a certification in NLP. And yet he's helped millions and millions and millions and millions, and who even knows the number of people, okay? Probably hundreds of millions even. Like, honestly, Tony Robbins, legend. The point is, you don't need certifications. You don't need a degree. In 2021, you don't need a degree. The education system is set up, once again, for you to fail. Right? To be blunt. This is one way of looking at it now. This is just perspective. There are instances where it's set up for you to succeed. It just depends on the way you're looking at it and what you're using it for. So I'm not going to sit here and put that belief in a box and say, hey, it's only for you to fail. But from this perspective, what I'm sharing with you now, think about it. Use your own judgment. What do you think? Right? A system that's set up for, hey, guess what? You need to work a job. Why do you need to work a job? Because you need to pay for your house. Why do you need to pay for your house? Because you need a place to live. Why do you need a place to live? So that you can eat and sleep. Right? So it comes down to survival. It's survival, survival, survival. They want you in survival mode. They want you in fear. If you're in, I'm afraid, I need to make money, otherwise I'm afraid I might not be able to eat or sleep. Which these are natural human instincts. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. But what they do is they program you to believe, hey, for you to make money, for you to get your survival needs met, you need to have a good job. And to get that good job, you need a degree. You need an education. So people see you as qualified or credible. Okay? That in of itself is a belief. And that was true. The collective agreement 10, 20, 30 years ago that's true. Okay, within the last 10 years or so, it's becoming less and less and less relevant, okay, depending on the country you are in and the job you're looking for. But if you're anything like me, an entrepreneur, you understand that you can create money out of nothing at any moment. You don't need a job or a set time or set many hours to, I got to do this for this period of time to then be able to make money, right? You're on the side of the cash flow quadrant, right? From Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki. You're on the side of the cash flow quadrant where you're exchanging time for money. There's also a side of the quadrant where you're exchanging money for money. There's also a side where you are exchanging other people's time for money, and there's also one where you're basically you're self-employed, you're an employee, you're a business owner, or you're an investor, pretty much. That's the four ones. Yeah, pretty much right. That wasn't my presentation in my first online business. Right, that wasn't my presentation in my first online business. I better know that. Robert P. Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad. So that's your past lives, man. Past lives, man. Connect within. If you like the new book right now, Meditation Secrets, check the link in the description below. Buy that on Amazon. It'll absolutely change your life. Straight up. Absolutely change your life if you're overthinking. Anytime, we all do this from time to time. Like, I do this sometimes. While we overthink, or we're stressed out, anxious, it happens. We're human. We're not perfect. But when it does happen, I have a specific way that I can get out of that very quickly. I can let go of that emotion really quickly. I don't have to hold on to it for the rest of the day, for the rest of the week. I don't have. If I feel fear, I get rid of it. You see what I'm saying? If I feel it and I release it. If I'm worried, if I'm anxious, I feel it and then I get rid of it. It's that simple. It's 30-minute meditation. You're done. Sometimes it's 15, sometimes longer. It just depends upon, number one, your clarity of your intention. Number two, your willingness to surrender. And number three, your willingness to learn what you just experienced and repeat it again and make it a habit. Okay? Because if you can learn, and you can, if we can learn how to do things the right way over and over and again, we will then begin to create a habit. And we'll teach our mind, or sorry, my bad, excuse me, we will teach our body how to do it better than our mind. Okay? So the key here with meditation and with life in general is you got to know what you want. And if you have a clear vision of your future, you can easily think about it, and therefore you can easily create it. Okay? Now I'm a little looser with the word easily because there's more to it than that, but if we don't have a clear vision of our future, we're left with the memories of our past. And we'll begin to think those thoughts, feel those feelings, and take those same actions because that's who we think we are. And one of the greatest human needs is to remain consistent of who we think we are. We must act how we think we are. This is who we are, therefore this is how we must act. Because this is what I've done in the past, and this is how I look, and this is what I say, and this is what I do, and these are the people I am around. Right? That's our self-image, right? Psycho-Cybernetics, Maxwell Maltz. Look for the book. It's somewhere over there. Like, yeah, dude, it's like self-image, bro. Like, how do you see yourself? One of the easiest ways to change your self-image is to change your daily actions, your daily routines. One of the easiest ways. Change your self-image. I've had times in my life where I've journaled all day long, or I wrote my affirmations, I said my goals, but I wasn't taking action on what I was writing down. So I even though I was writing it down mentally, I was learning, I was watching the personal development, I was watching the videos, I was reading the books, and I was taking notes on it, but I wasn't doing anything with the information. Okay? So even though I knew it mentally, my body didn't know it. Okay? So the key is to understand it's not about what you know in your conscious mind, it's you know what your subconscious mind. Your body is the language of your subconscious mind. Teach your body how to do it better than your mind. So if you're looking for that breakthrough, your breakthrough comes when you take action. Okay, and realize, as the great Aristotle once said, we become what we repeatedly do. Therefore, success is not an act, but a habit. Right? Aristotle once said, we become what we repeatedly do. Therefore, success is not an act, but a habit. And I think I said this in a video before. Matter of fact, I was Aristotle. Like, Aristotle is one of my parallel lives, one of my simultaneous lives. Okay? People will be like, what? You're Aristotle? What do you mean? What makes you think that the information exists within my soul? And that's that. You know, and I've had struggle admitting that to myself and to other people because I feel like it's far out there. People might think it's crazy, but I can no longer deny who I am. Like, I can no longer deny who I am. That's who I am. That's one of my lives. Okay? Have I felt before that puts some pressure on me to perform? And this lifetime, yes, absolutely I have. That being one of many of my past lives where I played a powerful role in advancing human society. One of my many lifetimes, this is what I do. It's in my soul signature. Okay, this is what I do this is what I've done in, I don't know about all, but a lot of my incarnations. Okay, I definitely have not tapped into all of my past lives, but I've tapped into, 10, 20, 30 in that range. Specifically the exact number, somewhere around there. Okay. I've done 10 regressions. And then the other 10 I have experienced by being in that state and basically hearing whispers and connecting dots. But I've had 10 regressions. So far. 10. And I'm learning more and more about myself every single day. And I'm excited to help you guys as well that are looking for help with your past lives. And okay, past lives, great, cool. You may just be curious, but really what knowing about your past lives can do is help you learn why you're going through what you're going through now and how to let go of it. Most importantly, learn the lesson and move on. Okay, that's what I say. Do you want to be in the first grade forever, or do you want to go into the second grade? Okay, you want to be in fifth grade forever, or you want to go into the sixth grade? Right? A lot of times as souls, we reincarnate and we're going through the same lesson every lifetime, and we just don't get it. We just don't get the lesson. We have a lot of times it's the narcissist people pleaser dynamic. Okay, the narcissist people pleaser dynamic. Me, part of my soul expression, part of my blueprint as a soul is to speak my truth and is to share information, right? To teach. So of course, growing up as a kid, I have this polarity of, okay, I'm a people pleaser, narcissist. I'm afraid to be myself. I'm afraid to speak up for myself all my life. So I have to learn until I finally wake up to the fact that, hey, I need to speak up for myself. Hey, I need to stop caring what people think, right? So of course, my entire life, that was the main thing. I was always afraid of what people think. I was afraid to talk to a stranger on the road. Like, I was afraid to do any of that. So that was one of the main lessons that I've experienced in this lifetime. And that's a lesson that people may incarnate over and over again and never learn. And this is what we're here to do. Right now in 2021, this information is becoming more and more popular at a very rapid rate. Very, very rapid rate. People are becoming aware that not only do they have past lives, but they can tap into them and learn very powerful lessons about their past, but also relaying that into their now and then ultimately helping them create their future. Okay? Past lives are a very powerful component in your spiritual awareness. Okay? With that being said, hope you guys enjoy. Drop a comment, please. Feel free. Drop a comment below any questions you have on the topic of past lives, specific angles you'd like me to go at, and what you would like to go over in our one-on-one session. You can book that below as well. Make sure we put all the links in the description. If you'd like the book Meditation Secrets, make sure you check out that as well. It will definitely change your life. And if you'd like to join the group, the Facebook New Earth Ascension group, learn how you can ascend, learn how you can raise your vibration and release resistance, learn how you can become everything you came here to be. With that being said, once again, I didn't even tell you this yet. Like the video if you liked it. That way it'll show up the next time. Subscribe and hit the bell. You know the deals for the algorithm, so more people can see this, so we can change more people's lives, most importantly. And hope you guys have a great night. Peace.